gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Paranormal Bus Stop, where we talk about all things paranormal in a round table format, featuring Ashley Storm, Cynthia Gerolius, Shay Carroll, and myself, Darren Buss. Welcome to the show. Let's have some fun. Today's technology and how much of that, really is that coming through? Is that really coming through the viewer as to, cause them to do weird things like, satanic stuff or do weird things in a paranormal field, as I'm trying to integrate this into the paranormal field type deal?
Associated?
Mm-hmm.
Matt!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Bus Stop. I'm your host, Darren Buss, along with Cynthia Gerolius and Ashley Storm. Matt is in the background helping us with the technical difficulty stuff.
Causing the technical difficulties.
Yep. So we were muted for the first 3 minutes here of the show, so put him right on the spot. He's probably say, "Fuck you, man."
Am I actually on now?
You are on.
Yes. Hello. I love you guys. I miss you so.
Can't see you, but you're on.
Well, I can't see Darren either, so.
I'm here.
I don't see you.
Where's the glare in my head?
No, I don't see the glare of your head. Whoop. I don't see nothing. Matt disappeared.
Well, I'm here, so.
There's Matt.
There's Matt. Anyway, there he goes again. We're playing charades here, I think. Anyway, so tonight's episode is an interesting one that we don't really talk about much. We are talking about subliminal messages and associating it with the paranormal field. So anyhow, Cynthia, do you think the problem with subliminal messages has started like in the 60s and so forth?
Yeah, I'd say 60s, 70s. They had a lot of, like, when you go through television commercials and things like that, they had a lot of subliminal messaging in television commercials and things like that. I mean, now they're getting sneakier with it, but I still think that there's a lot out there, because if you watch the commercials today, they do things in a certain way, and they show things in a certain way that kind of makes you sit there and go, "Ooh, I want that," or "Ooh, I need to get that," or yada yada yada.
And do you think it kind of affects the people in some sort of way to kind of get like, does it kind of possess a person in a weird kind of way? I mean, is there an aspect of that?
I don't know. Ash, what do you think? She's
I
still
wouldn't
on.
necessarily say possess, but kind of like puppetry more than possession.
Yep.
Because I mean, do you think that? Pardon me, my cough, but do you think like sometimes exorcisms come out of this because of something that gets them so deep involved?
I guess, I mean, it depends on what you're watching,
Right?
or what you're listening to.
So for that, like, satanic panic fake craze that went on, they were like, if you play all those rock and roll records backwards, you'll hear like "Hail Satan" and things like that. Like, that's one of the biggest examples of subliminal messaging, right? But that was scare tactics more than anything, because every single one of us tried to play those hoes backwards. And you never actually heard what they were like, what everyone was freaking out about, So I think it's more than anything, it can either a tool for advertisement or a scare tactic. There's no like middle ground with it. You know what I'm saying? It's usually used for advertisement purposes, or it can be used to instill fear in certain subsets that are enjoying a certain fad at the moment and things like that.
Right.
So it's just like, I don't know. I don't think it can possess someone to the point of, or not possess one, but make someone obtain a possession, I guess is the best way to say it.
Or need one, yeah.
Yeah, but
it caused one.
Anything could.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so maybe it was someone it was in that time era where they thought that listening to those records backwards, the suggestive thought of everything. If you listen to something enough, or you want to believe it enough, that's what you'll hear. So maybe someone one day went into listening to a bunch of Dio records backwards and were like, "Oh my God, the spirit of the devil."
He's
inside
awesome,
me.
by the way.
Yes, he is. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be just that false environment that we're in, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Like, we're tricking ourselves into thinking that we're possessed, or we're tricking ourselves into thinking we have, a demon inside of us, or things like that. But I don't know if it actually caused it. It could. It totally could, but anything can. But I don't think it.
Right. I mean, if it influences you enough to, I mean,
like,
when I was...
could inspire possession if you wanted them to. Like, anything can do it.
When I was in parochial school, our pastor and that was teaching, Bible studies and stuff like that, he brought up subliminal messaging, and actually was trying to play a record backwards to show us what the effects, how things sound and this and that. And so they were toying with that a little bit between 6th to 8th grade, teaching us about stuff like that.
Right. But I don't know. I guess to me it actually has a point. It depends on the person and how susceptible you are to stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of like, to me, it would be kind of like hypnosis,
Right. And I've yet to have that issue of being hypnotized and stuff like that with anything like that, which I think would be kind of trippy, but that's
Never
TBD.
tried it.
But when you think of MK Ultra, it's basically the same thing. They used hypnotism to install subliminal messages, using subliminal messages, basically, to create like activated agents and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it all kind of all ties in together in a very weird and dangerous way. Because who knows, when people who go to those hypnotist shows, one, if they're a real hypnotist, y'all are all screwed. What if he put the whole theater to sleep and he made y'all like agents or some shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, did something you don't know what they're doing to you.
Right.
I would just, I don't know. I just wouldn't be okay with that and be like, maybe not. I don't know. It's just sketchy to me. Real suspicious. When people go to like hypnotherapy and stuff, I believe that works, but I also don't trust anyone else enough that they're not going to be like fucking with my subconscious while they're in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, just toying with me for like 20 minutes of my session, making me bark like a dog or like run around the office like a squirrel or some shit, like, and then posting it on the internet. I know my brain goes weird fucking places. I just don't trust people, yo. Like,
Neither do I. I mean, that's pretty much the reasons why I haven't tried the hypnotism or anything like that either, is because I have trust issues. I have big trust issues with people, and I mean that stems back to like high school days, grade school days, and so I don't want to ever put myself in a position to where I can have somebody take
control or
advantage. Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All I see is your head down there.
What's that? I missed that. So here's something. So with the paranormal field, and we do the EVPs, the spirit boxes, and SS method and stuff like that. Are we producing the subliminal messages into those devices to create it, to spit it back out? To give us the messages that way? I mean, are we giving them the messages into those things to bring it out? You know what I'm trying to say.
We talked about this. What did I call it? Can you go back to our messages? Because I can't look because I'm on my phone. I called it something else because I was like, I think you might. I called it something different because I was like, wait, by subliminal messages, do you mean like
the power of
persuasion?
About the power of suggestion.
That's what I called it. It was like a thought form something. Mm-hmm. I called it something else.
It's a power of persuasion is what you called it, really.
So basically, instead of like subliminal messages, it's not necessarily that like we're in
like a topa. Are you thinking?
No, not necessarily. Well, kind of, but it's not necessarily an entity. Rather, responses, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That we are creating what we want to hear, basically. When we go into certain locations. It's not that because a subliminal message to me would be something that's installed beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was a certain device that, like a spirit box or any type of ITC devices, if someone put messages in there beforehand that we don't hear, we don't catch openly, that would be a subliminal message. But when we're going in and putting our own thoughts into, because some of us are strong enough, to manifest that stuff right in front of us. If we want to hear a certain answer, we want to get a certain response enough, we can kind of manifest that. So it's not necessarily a subliminal message rather than the power of persuasion or a thought form, not necessarily entity, but thought form responses and interactions.
Right.
You want to elaborate a little bit more on that, Cynthia?
I don't have much more to elaborate, I guess. I mean, I totally agree with what she said.
Right. Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
So, Now,
Mhm.
the other part of that is now I bring Ouija boards and seances into play with this. Can that have the same effect as what we were talking about, EVPs and spirit boxes, the same sort of way, or is that a whole different kind of context when it comes to that stuff?
Sin can take that one first.
Well, I mean, I don't see like Ouija boards or anything bringing any type of subliminal messaging,
Mm-hmm.
per se. You know,
Right.
I guess to me, I think it would be very hard to do anything subliminal with a Ouija board. So I personally, I guess, I don't think that there's as much of a as high of a chance of being able to do anything, unless the person that's doing it with you is the one that's actually controlling the board. And I wouldn't even say that would be subliminal. That's just pulling the wool over your eyes and making you think that you got something that you don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'm curious about all this stuff and how that would play an effect. I mean, that's why I brought up today's subject, just because it's a unique subject. It's something different that, like I said, we don't talk about. And
It is. I like the way that you think about it because it's a different perspective of it. It's completely different than the way that Cynthia and I think about things. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love your questions because it's completely.
Yeah,
It really does. It makes you always think outside of the box and really just kind of not just think, but actually like dig into
have
the meaning of these
to
things.
dig into it,
yeah.
because I mean, like I said, for me, okay, spirit boxes, ITC devices, things like that can be and usually are pre-programmed with either a phonetic bank, a word bank, something like that. So that gives a little more leeway for people to play with things like, messages, subliminal messages and things like that. But a Ouija board, there's no programming to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, and we're trademarking this right now, electronic Ouija boards.
Hey, there we go.
There's a TMTK trademark.
TM that shit. Can't take it back. Whoop, whoop. We're gonna get rich, motherfucker.
Ash, we're gonna have to sit down and figure out how to make an electronic Ouija board.
I'm down. I'm totally fucking serious right now. We have to.
Oh, I think it can be done because I just saw an electronic grocery cart. When you throw a food into the cart, and it immediately detects what you put in or what the price is.
What?
Yeah.
No, see, those grocery carts are gonna end up murdering people. When you make your technology too smart, like it's just no. We're all gonna get murdered by grocery carts and Roombas. Fuck this shit. Stop making AI technology do things that we could do ourselves. Stop it.
I don't know where I saw that. I think I saw that on TikTok or some shit like that.
We need to have an episode about the robot uprising that's inevitable.
iRobots?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The Matrix all over again.
Or if they flipped on its head and be like, I Am Legend.
No,
we're all by ourselves and surviving.
I was going to say, I Am Legend is somebody that actually made what was it? It's supposed to be a vaccine?
There's Ashley. I can actually see her now.
Yeah. I got my computer working finally. It's been rebooting for the past 30 minutes.
Don't you hate that?
But I have a new computer.
I can see Matt. I don't see Darren.
Dumb.
I'm in here. I see you all.
I see all y'all. On my phone, it was weird, though. It was like, are you on your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird on my phone. It was like layered out. I could only see the top of Darren's head. And then
it's very shiny. Real big. And you can see the glare, everyone. Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it's odd. I mean, to think about trying to figure out a way to be able to do some sort of subliminal messaging through a Ouija board just doesn't. I don't know. I just don't see it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It'd be kind of interesting if I would have thought about it soon enough. I would have brought James. How do you say his last name?
James Anito.
Yeah, I would have brought him in and said, see what he would have thought about it.
Well, there's
And just
something for you to
get
message
the
him
aspect of it. What's that?
I said there's something for you to message him and ask him.
Yeah, I mean whether you're Catholic or Lutheran or whatnot, it could be all the same way, or they could think of it in a whole different type of way, in a different context.
Yeah. Or you could do it.
Some may really take it to heart a lot more than others.
Yeah. Yep. No, totally get it.
So, is there really a consequence to these subliminal messages, like we were saying before? Can there be a consequence where somebody could turn around and create a murder or a suicide, and then we go to that place and later down the road to investigate what happened, and it comes out about so and so listen to this and so and so made him do this.
Well, I mean, okay, so now you're delving a little more into the mental state of people and into things of that nature, because for me, if somebody's gonna commit suicide because of a musical choice, like a song that they listen to or whatever,
mm-hmm.
There's underlying issues and underlying circumstances to that.
All right.
I mean,
right.
Yes, anything is possible. I think it could happen, but I think it's more likely you would find out that it wasn't quite a subliminal message from the song as it was this person's own mind, getting them into that dark place or getting them into that dark state that was already started to brew, prior to listening to whatever song or listening to whatever, or, watching whatever movie or,
Or what about reading a book? I mean,
that too.
Book influences you as well.
Yeah, anything can influence you. Don't you agree, Ash?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've never really heard of a book really cause an issue. It's more the music aspect of things that causes more issue in the past. But
books cause lots of issues.
Yeah, I was going to say Mein Kampf.
Yeah, books cause lots of issues. The Bible causes lots of issues.
I was going to bring that up. I mean,
I was going to say, just Mein Kampf.
They are literally still banning things that they find offensive in Florida just because it's like it preaches race equality. They're banning shit because it preaches race. Like, books will always, because it's knowledge. Everyone will always have. If it's change, if it's something different than their norm, than their safe little bubble, it's always going to scare people, whether it be books, music, TV show, like anything is going to threaten people. Even if like McDonald's changes their menus. How, that will be the one thing that gets Americans to actually finally like take charge and uprise and come together as one. Watch McDonald's change their menu and make some healthier shit. They'd lose it. They'd actually finally get off their asses and do something.
Yeah.
Okay. Not going to disagree with that.
And I would too. I want to McDouble, bitch.
So, what
do
the people in the chat have to say about this? I mean, I haven't seen any questions in the chat lately.
I'm not looking at chat, so I don't know.
So what do you all think about this in the chat room? I mean, how do you feel about subliminal messages? Do you feel it's more book-wise than music-wise, or do you feel it can interact with the paranormal as we go out investigating?
Yeah. And the reason that I brought up like Mein Kampf and everything, I mean, look at the neo-Nazis, look at the KKK, look at, the groups like that, the white supremacist groups and everything. That is their Bible,
Yep.
Mhm.
you know?
Just like
That
people
is,
who are anti-Muslim and stuff think the Quran's the same thing. That's like the equivalent. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep,
no matter who you are, something is equally as offensive to you as something else would be. Like, to an anti-Muslim, the Quran would be as offensive as Mein Kampf is to someone of Jewish descent. And it's nuts because it's like they're both equally fucking offensive. Not the Quran, but like those
yeah,
thought processes that people have.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, to be against someone's just religion or culture and be
Yep.
like, that book needs to be burned and it needs to die and all this other shit. But, oh, okay. Just, whatever. Fuck racists. Anyway, until people start asking other questions, did you know that the U.S. is actually one of the only places that still allows subliminal messaging? It's actually against the law in most other countries. The U.S. is one of the very few countries that still lets them use subliminal messaging in advertising.
Yep.
Which says a lot for us as a nation. It
Yep.
says a lot that, the way we live versus other countries. Like, I don't really think people understand how, like, controlled and manipulated and trained we are, really, as a nation, as a people, to be like complacent and just kind of go through the motions of the work, pay your bills, be miserable system of it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, the reforms in other countries are absolutely nuts. And if we all just like came together and were like, hey, we want actual paid vacation days, we want mental health days, the way other countries do, implement it equally, it would just be insane. But again, until McDonald's changes their menus.
I'm trying to stop eating there. So how would you guys integrate this type of deal in your paranormal investigations? What do you think you would do to say, okay, I want to see this theory, how this would work. What kind of way can I do it and see if I can get a result out of it? Cynthia, you want to go first?
Oh, good Lord, I don't know.
What theory? A subliminal messaging?
Using subliminal messaging in paranormal investigation?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how I would go about it. I mean, I guess I'm not technology minded enough to try something like that, per se. Or I could say know how to try something like that.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, you would almost have to have
somebody.
Yeah, you stumped me. You would almost have to like pre-record something and just keep playing it on a loop over and over and over again, low enough to where it's it's just barely noticeable. And I don't know.
I know what I would do.
Before we get to Ashley's comment,
no.
What would Roland do?
What would Roland do? Oh, Roland would figure some way out.
Yeah, he'd subliminal message the fuck out of everybody.
Oh yeah.
He'd be like Russia with that shit.
He would sit down and figure out a way to do it, and then he would use it every chance he got.
Yeah.
So
he'd probably get people to bring him stuff.
Donate money.
Yeah, give me gifts. Bring me food.
I want this PlayStation 4 game or something. PS5.
That would be video games. Yep.
Oh shit, that'd be funny.
Yeah, I wouldn't know I mean, Taylor would be a better one to ask about that because I wouldn't even know how to start.
You heard it first here, folks. I stumped her on a show for once. And that's a very hard thing to do.
Sometimes. So what's your idea, Ashley?
Yes.
I would play, well, first of all, I'd make like a beat, a mad beat to play in the beginning, like in the foyer area of the asylum that people can listen to while they're like setting up and stuff. But I would record "Don't Be a Dick" and play it backwards, and then incorporate that into my beat somehow. So like, "Don't be a dick, don't be a dick, don't be a dick, don't be a dick."
Put stuff back the way they were.
Yeah, exactly. And I would just like slowly get people to stop being fucking assholes. That's all I want. I just want people to stop being dicks. Like, I can't do it anymore. Like, I'm not by any means perfect. Sometimes the things that come out of my mouth, like the way I say things versus my intent behind it is very different. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in text.
Right.
In text, it comes off so like just blunt and harsh. But that's not like how I'm just like giving facts. Like, I'm just talking. I'm not like putting laugh emojis and stuff. So a lot of the times I put laugh emojis a shit ton because I'm like, I don't want them to think that I'm being a dick. So I just put a bunch of laugh emojis. But then it looks like I'm still being a dick, but I'm laughing at the same time. Like, I don't.
Genuine.
Yes, I'm not perfect, but my intent is never negative or rude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then there are people who are actively like that. And I just want it to stop because I have a kid. I can't catch a charge, but I'm super fucking close to going back to the old ways.
Oh, Lord.
So we need to subliminal message people into being nice. That's what I want to do.
No, I mean, maybe
I need you to
put
mix
it
it down
under.
for me, okay, Matt? You're probably better at that than I am. I'm gonna send you all of my samples and my mad beats and my rapping, and then we'll go from there.
We'll put Matt's voice underneath of it, so
Fuck yes.
The subliminal message, because he's got that calming,
I
soothing.
need Matt to do the "Don't Be a Dick." People are gonna recognize my voice on that part. I need Matt to be the "Don't Be a Dick" part. That will be in the bass drops. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick.
Well, just put it on the side of the asylum and just put it in words.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put that shit on YouTube and get it to everyone.
There we go.
Yeah.
We
Right.
don't Ashley to have to come out and bring out the Bayou chick.
Nah, baby, you don't want that 504 up in your life, huh? Yeah.
So now that you brought up YouTube,
Oh, Lord.
so now with YouTube, can that be incorporated with YouTube when you're watching videos? As far as like this person is doing an investigation, but we know that it's a crock of shit and they're faking shit, but still, it makes people think that it actually happened.
So, YouTube is a video service.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube can have advertisements. So,
But I'm talking like the
yeah,
physical video itself.
yeah, there
When
would be ways to be able to do it. I mean, like I said, do I know how? No.
Mhm.
But yes, if you can make a video, you can influence somebody with that video.
Especially with how much they not just how much they can edit, but how much they do edit. Especially for the ghost hunter YouTube channels, those people who have like no real like actual investigation experience, but rather we're like, this is getting a lot of views now. This is like the hot thing now. So we're just going to keep going into all these buildings, these abandoned places, or sneaking into these places. You know what I'm saying? The people who aren't doing it, not necessarily the right way, but the legal way and like the safe way. Yeah.
Yeah.
They could totally, I believe that, and I totally believe that most of them would be like, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Like do like those little flashes of words, or have even just having something placed in the background, like a subscribe button. A lot of them, you'll see that they have that like subscribe button from YouTube, like the actual physical ones that you can get made and have it in the background. That's subliminal advertising in itself. While they're like walking around doing investigations and stuff where they have those things, that's subliminal messaging. Whilst they're getting people to watch that video, they're advertising for all these other things. We do it too. When we post our logos or like follow this, that, and the third, and the chat and things like that, we're technically partaking as well. Yeah. It's not necessarily subliminal as much as advertising. But when it's a video, people are watching it for the content, not the advertising. Because that was the first example of advertising was the movie theaters in 1951 would put like eat popcorn or drink Coke in the backgrounds of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so it would make people get up and go to the concession stands. That was what was considered the first subliminal messages. So as long as we're subscribing or liking or buying because of the advertisement, I consider it subliminal messages, no matter what.
Yep.
I mean, I get deep in those YouTube videos sometimes. It's just like something really captivates you that just, like, okay, they're going to sit here for like, it's like an hour video, okay? And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're like, I'm just going to watch it for a couple minutes just to see what this guy is doing and, how he's maybe going about his investigation or whatnot. And next thing you know, it's like, shit, I've been watching this for a half hour. But it's like, it was so boring, but why did it captivate me so much?
Because they were subliminal messaging you, Dan. You got.
Yeah, that's what it is when it gets to YouTube. It really draws you in a lot,
Yep.
Same thing with TikToks. You get lost in the goddamn TikToks.
Again, and I can't believe how many times I have to fucking say this shit. If I go missing or die in a crazy ass like accident, the FBI did it because I was too fucking close. So I've always wondered if that whole TikTok thing, how like people literally like kind of like addicted to it. Any type of platforms like that. I've always wondered if in the platforms like the video making platforms, whether it was, oh my God, I can't remember the name of it, but it was like the first one that ever came out where you could make like the little clips and stuff.
Vine.
Yes, there you go. Things like that, like video making services, if the software that they make those videos on, you know what I'm saying? Because it's all made on that same platform, have some type of message, or because you can play it at a certain frequency too, and band that we don't technically hear it with our ears, but we're getting it. I've always wondered if they did that on those social media platforms.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
Kind of get and what they're getting people to do. That's why I've always strayed away from them, because I'm not trying to get mind controlled by no foreign countries. Fuck that shit.
And truthfully, if you look at it with TikTok, I mean, so I'm guilty of it. I get lost in scrolling through it quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
But like the trends that they come out with, the dance trends, the different food trends, everything like that. You start out with just seeing like one or two people, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's everywhere.
Yep.
Right.
It's more than saturated. It's like flooded.
Yeah, that's why I said, why? Why would it be like that? Well, there's got to be something to it, because all of a sudden, it goes from one or two people to flooded.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I see that a lot. And you're right about the dance stuff. Yeah, I see a lot of the dance stuff, and then I see a lot of the fix-it stuff, like, or try to do this shortcut with this product to get this for this outcome,
Yeah, like the life hacks things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, like with Facebook, a lot of your clickbait.
Yeah.
Now it's all reels, which are all apparently from TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they incorporate that
and without it like
opening up Instagram has
or TikTok.
reels too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's too confusing. I just stay away from it.
Yeah.
And Matt is just testing out Twitch, so
I don't do the clickbait shit.
Yeah. I try to stay away from that stuff. I mean, you look at the thumbnails. That's another thing that draws you in with YouTube is thumbnails. Everybody's got this goddamn perfect thumbnail. It's like I put one out there I think is perfect, and I get shit for views, But it's like
the thumbnail again is another type of subliminal message.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the video turns out to be
they
shit
express, or you know what I'm saying? That emotion that's captured in just that one moment. When it could be like 2 seconds of that whole video is what that moment was, and the rest of it was boring as shit. But you're drawing those people in because you're captivating them with that emotion. They want to feel that too. It's crazy. People just want to be scared now.
Mm-hmm.
People would much rather something be angry and demonic and like evil and in your face than it be profound.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dumb.
Yeah, I watch this. people on YouTube. I don't want to mention their name because I don't want to catch hell for it. If they even happen to even watch this anyway, they show like how you should make your thumbnails. You gotta show emotion. You should show stuff in the background that maybe isn't as real as it should be.
Well, there
Stuff
you
like
go.
that.
Subliminal messaging right there.
Yeah, they tell you what to do physically. I mean, just right there in the videos, they tell you what to do.
Yep,
To get your views.
it's all right there.
So it's basically like a how to trick people.
Yeah, basically.
Fucking
It's a mind fuck. That's what it is.
I say it's not exactly how to trick people. It's how to
advertise yourself best to people.
Trigger.
It's technically how to trick people.
Trigger responses.
And the process, you look stupid when you show emotion, those goddamn thumbnails.
Have one of your kids punch you in the nuts and take a picture.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Well, this was an interesting, like I said, I wanted to do something a little different tonight and incorporate the paranormal with it and see how far we can get with it. And I thought we did a pretty damn good job about going through with it and stuff. So, let's hear. Well, let's go ahead and start sharing out what people are doing and stuff. And we'll start with you, Ashley. What's coming up for you and events? And
man, so much shit. Hold on. Let me pull up. I didn't know we were doing this yet. It's only 6:40.
I decided to do it early because usually you have a lot.
Yeah. Well,
so I want the people to get out there and hear it.
Well, I'll appreciate it. So
we got a puppy in the photo.
This weekend, this Saturday, I will be at the Mineola Paranormal Conference. It starts at 7 a.m. for the VIP ticket holders. General admission starts at the door at 8. You can buy your tickets online. Everything is posted on my personal page. You can also find the Facebook page for it. It's the Tyler/Mineola Paranormal Conference. And we will be doing the ghost hunt after the conference. It's the Historic Select Theater and the funeral home, which are both over 100 years old. The theater annex is in downtown Mineola. The aviation museum and one of the oldest cemeteries in that area of Texas. Then on May 6th and 7th, I will be doing 6th, 7th, and 8th. I will be doing Kilgore Geekend, which is a paranormal conference, an anime conference, a Comic-Con, and a horror con all mixed into one. So there will be people who do voices for animes, people who do graphic novels, actual voice actors for Netflix shows, writers for Netflix shows. One of the guys who writes for Ninjago will be there on one of the other panels. I'll be speaking on the paranormal panel and leading that. And then we have a Naruto race where you actually run Naruto with your hands behind your back like that in downtown Kilgore, and whoever gets first place
love all that.
Wins a prize. Yeah, a lady who does personal Pokemon cards. We have a little D&D session going on in one of the areas, an Alice in Wonderland tea party. The Curiosity Shop just opened up in Mineola, which is part of the funeral home that we'll be doing this weekend coming up. And then I'll be leading the ghost hunts for the Kilgore Geekend thing. That night we'll be doing the richest acre in downtown Kilgore, which is where they struck the most oil in Texas. Is this whole downtown area. We'll basically be doing all of downtown Kilgore. We're going to be doing the old broadcast museum that actually has the van that when JFK was shot in downtown Dallas, that van was there. I was one of the first ones to report it. So that's actually inside of the museum that we're going to be investigating, and a bunch of other cool places. And then I have a bunch of other events coming up at the Ambush Museum at the end of May. And you can follow my page for all the other stuff. And for October, I just opened it up at the Asylum. I only have 4 more dates left for the year. So if you want to book, you have to email me now. They're going incredibly fast. I just opened up October, and I only have 4 dates left. Because I didn't have any for the rest of the year. So I opened up October. So those are going pretty fast. Other than that, my podcast. Oh, I'm coming back, motherfuckers. Season 4 starts next Monday. Woot woot.
There we go.
7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on RU Media Network. I will have Ted McKay, a.k.a. the Professor of Rock. He's been in the rock industry and radio industry for over 40 years. He's done tons of like personal time with Led Zeppelin and all these other cool bands. So we're going to talk about the Curse of the 27 Club and if there's anything behind that, you know, and just kind of like the dark side of rock and roll. So we're going to get real deep into that stuff. And a bunch of other guests, but I'm not going to announce them yet. So, and I think that's it. Paranormal Bully Busters. Still, if you want to join that, please message the page so I can give you guys the outro slides for everything. It has all of the crisis resource information that you need on that page. Go check it out. Mental health, all that stuff. Please and thank you. Boop, boop. Awesome. That's it. I promise.
Cynthia, what do you got coming up?
Wow, I can't even compare to what Ashley's got. Let's see. April 30th, we are doing an investigation at Edinburgh Manor. May 5th, I am hoping to join an investigation at Villisca. May 13th and 14th, I will be at Edinburgh again. Let's see, June 17th, I think. It's the weekend. I know it's the weekend of the 19th, anyway. I will be at Cambry House for the summer solstice. Rebecca Williamson usually posts an event for that, so be on the lookout for that. It will be being shared, of course, when we get the event page going with a bunch of other people. It's usually a really, really good time. We have a lot of fun. We have some vendors out there that come with their crafts and their stuff, and there's usually quite a few paranormal teams that are out there. So do try and check that out. Let's see, July will be hopefully the Cedar Rapids Expo for Kelly McCarville. August 6th, we will be doing Farrar. September 9th and 10th, we are doing the Hinsdale House, and the 12th, we are doing Randolph County Infirmary. October 22nd will be Bangor Haunted Crib Year 3, Part 3. Where am I at?
I don't hear Broken Bow or Texas anywhere up in that bitch.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, okay. Y'all been saying that for 2 fucking years, and there you are, sitting up north, all willy-nilly and shit.
Girl.
Oh. I love y'all, but y'all are killing me with this shit. Come visit me,
I'm working on it.
Just don't let Darren drive. This motherfucker was like, I said, are we going to have a show? Because it's the Monday after Easter, right? So I'm like, maybe we won't have a show because it's just like an observance, whatever. So I just asked. And he was like, if I make it home alive. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, the roads are so dangerous. We almost died. And I told him, I said, you better call an Uber or a taxi and get your ass back safe. The fuck?
Right?
I wasn't driving, though. It was my wife who was driving. It was the freeway that just almost killed us. Those motherfuckers are nasty out there in Minneapolis. Jesus.
Yes, they are. Minneapolis is a very dangerous place to drive. I will agree to that.
I hate it.
And then I think the last thing we have usually for the year is the Quad Cities Expo in Davenport. And that will happen. It's always the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
So, that's what I've got planned for now.
And I'm gonna message you after this, and I'm gonna have. I need your ear for a minute, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So the only things I got going up right now is May 7th. I'll be heading to the Karsten Nest Hotel in Kewaunee, Wisconsin for an investigation overnight.
What is that?
And that's that's way up by like Green Bay in that area.
Okay. Is it a new place, or like
No,
has it
it's
just become available to the public?
It's been around for a while, and you've been able to get in there, but I think investigations kind of might have started a year or so.
Oh,
I'll
cool.
be with We Are Paranormal that's putting on the event. So it is a hotel that's been around since, I believe, 1850, 1857, somewhere around that area.
Mm.
And it's been, let's see, in 1910, a new owner, which is the Karsten, the building actually burnt down to the basement, and then he rebuilt it the way how he wanted it to be. And then that was in 1912. And then from there on, the Spanish flu happened. And the morgue was so small that they couldn't hold all the bodies. So they ended up holding like 80 of the bodies in the basement until the ground thawed to bury them and stuff. So, and then there's a little boy. And then the owner, Mr. Karsten himself, is there. And probably a couple other spirits that I won't know until I get there for the tour and stuff. But it's a 8-hour investigation, I believe, or as long as you want to stay up. So it's not bad. And then May 13th and 14th, I'll be joining Cynthia at Edinburgh Manor. So I can't wait for that. And then after that, it's kind of wide open. Just to wait and see where my child decides to go for college. And then hopefully in October, I can join Cynthia with her 3rd annual event. So, but there might be a chance. There is a new location that is new to me that I've never thought of, but We Are Paranormal is the one that has brought this to light. It's the Washoe County Historical Museum. And this is where Ed Gein stayed in there for 4 days. So they have 8 jail cells. In the back part, the front part's kind of like a house part type deal. A couple children that are supposed to be in the attic and stuff like that. So
don't get eaten.
Well, there is a German soldier that hung himself in one of the jail cells. So he is around there too, that he likes to pick on women a lot, so push them down the stairs.
You know what's so fucked up? I just thought about how your head would make a great ashtray.
Oh Lord!
You brought up, first of all, I'm not just like sitting here like, oh my god, your head would be a beautiful ashtray. You got me thinking about Ed Gein, okay? And then you bent down again, and all I saw was the dome, and I'm like, my god, that is like the perfect shape. You wouldn't have to do any work to it. You know what I'm saying? Just like, as is, boom. Shakalaka. God. This is why I keep getting banned from shit. I keep getting, so I got another Facebook thing, because I said I was going to kidnap Cynthia.
Oh boy.
She come to visit, and so now I'm like on my final warning from Facebook. And I'm just so glad we're not live from there right now, because definitely think that would have pushed it over the fucking top.
Oh, I would say so. Oh, speaking God. Of call me an ashtray.
The people who don't know me are going to be so disturbed. I'm not actually going to do it. Like, it was just, oh my God. I don't know how to get out of this one now.
I don't think I even want to know.
Your psychotic tendencies are coming out.
Exactly.
I've been exposed. Oh, no.
But hopefully I can get Cynthia and Taylor and Emmett to come up to Washoe County. I think that would be fun, and they would have a good time. So with that, anybody else got any last comments before we sign off?
I'm so sorry.
Besides, call me an ashtray.
Not you, just your head. Just
my bald head.
Not like your whole head, just like, from the eyebrows up. Just that part.
Well, there we go. We got the snort.
Oh, God, I'm so fucked up. I'm going to hell. Oh, my God.
I think we're all about that part.
Oh, I know. We're going to have seats all next to each other. Shay's going to have the front row one, though.
And poor Matt sitting here going, oh, my God, what did I get myself into?
You knew what this job was when you took it.
Oh, man.
Sleep, I've slept like 3 hours the past like 3 days.
Oh, there you go. That's worse. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
now she's hallucinating, folks.
It's a little weird. It's whatever.
All right, everybody. I thank you for joining us for this wacky, interesting discussion of subliminal messaging. And if you want to look it up yourself and see a little more into it and dig into it and see what you can do with the paranormal of it, that'll be interesting. Let me know. You have been watching or listening to the Paranormal Buzz Radio Network. This has been the Paranormal Buzz Stop Radio Show. And for myself, Darren, Cynthia, Ashley, I bid you adieu. So long, everybody.
Later.